Okay, but when we were going through our sabbatical, it took me almost that whole year of just resting. So sleeping in, not really doing anything. I had no motivation to do anything. It was probably, I wasn't depressed, but I probably wasn't far from it. Um, Not everybody can do the type of extreme thing that we did. So just talking about it doesn't really help. What are some suggestions to get to that point?
Yeah, and Masha, you're probably the best to answer that because you did take a medical leave of absence for a short period of time, but you are working full time, you have a kid and a schedule, and you care for your grandmother. So what would you recommend for people who do have all those responsibilities and they're trying to get the sleep that they should get, which the recommendation is 7 to 9 hours every night?
Excellent question, and it will take some effort. It's not going to happen overnight, but you have to really take a look at your superhero syndrome and you have to evaluate where are you overcommitting. Then you have to give yourself permission to start saying no and cleaning up your schedule. That is the only way I was able to succeed. Once I drew down the list of everything I was responsible for, because I said yes to things when I should have said no to, I realized that, whoa, how did I get here? Why did I put so much on my shoulders? And why am I alone doing that? Then what I started doing is shedding those commitments where I could and delegating it where I couldn't. So a prime example of I'll give a very personal example to me is my grandmother is in her 80s and she's struggling with dementia. So a very aggressive form of dementia, which takes a lot of stress, physical, mental, spiritual stress onto the body. And I initially overextended myself by putting the burden of all of her care on my shoulders, which is unreasonable, being a single mom, full-time job, and taking care of my elderly grandmother full-time. If you want to burn out quick, that's a good way to do it. So it was definitely a big contributor to my burnout. And what I did was I looked at her benefits and I said, whoa, why am I taking time off to drive her to her appointments? She has a benefit. She has a volunteer who can take her. So I started shifting and delegating those responsibilities to necessary parties. I scheduled the nurse visit twice a day. She has the benefit. Now she has a nurse coming twice a day. She has a helper coming during the day. So my burden reduced from every day to once or twice a week, and that is more manageable. So just an example of some things you can do. It may seem impossible. If there's a will, there's a way. That's what I found out.
So,
Giving permission to.
and permission. Yeah.
You got to give yourself permission to take the rest that you need because you feel guilty that you're not doing everything that you think you should be doing. So then stepping back and saying, no, I need to take care of myself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's an important point. Most people in burnout, and in fact, it's not unusual for them to have someone that they are taking care of, like you were almost full time, or other family responsibilities. It's really hard to give yourself permission to get the rest and sleep you need when you have those responsibilities. So thanks for pointing that out. Let's talk a little bit about the broader definitions of rest. So, a book came out fairly recently and it's called Sacred Rest. It talks about 7 types of rest. The author is Sandra Dalton Smith, MD, and sleep is one of them, but she breaks it out into different types of rest because sleep may not be enough. It could be that you particularly need a different type of rest during the day, during your work day. If you are particularly in a profession, a career that is go, go, go all day long, it's actually important to take some rest during the day. So, what are your thoughts on that? And what is restful for you beyond just sleeping?
Nature's for me. Either sitting out in it or taking a drive in it. It's the chance to just listen to the quiet and soak in and think. It's probably one of my main ones, other than sleep. I'm a big fan of sleep now. Afternoon naps are really good. You got to have your afternoon naps. If you're not doing your afternoon naps, you're not doing it right.
Yeah, lunch and nap, it's a thing.
It is. I agree.